And we have returned. You're listening to CSC Talk Radio. This is Beth Ann. We had a little power outage here in Little Town, a city of California, Missouri. I don't know what happened, but I do apologize for that. And it's got to be the guys working out front. I don't know where they are, but we lost power. And I hope it's not. Sometimes that's an accident. Somebody had a wreck. I hope it's not that. But I was talking about the numbers and the things that they have changed through the years. And even over 100 years ago, this was planned, which is amazing to me. But no longer do they select, appoint senators from your state legislature. So now what we have are career politicians in the state of the senators anyway. And they will spend bukus of dollars, millions of dollars to get a seat that only pays $108,000. And now the Democrats have decided that's not enough. They need to load the boat. So they are wanting to change how many senators people have. Instead of every state having one senator, they want to do it by population, like a House of Representatives. So they want to turn the Senate into something like the House of Representatives. There's a reason our founding fathers set things up the way they did. And this is by design to make those changes. And in making those changes, the minority in this nation will no longer have a voice. Rural America will no longer have a voice because you don't have that population. Your voice is barely heard now. While the president, and I do respect him, and Vice President Pence, and some of these others that say they are the voice, that you are no longer the forgotten men and women. Yes, you are. They're still not listening. But just like the little who in Whoville, you're going to have to make your voice heard. I believe a talk show such as CSC Talk Radio can help you do that. But we need to grow. We need to circle the wagons, and I cannot do it by myself. It's amazing to me how the people in this nation will continue to vote in legislators, whether it's in the House or the Senate, who haven't got a clue. And that fits into those who do have a clue. It fits into their plan. Just an example here. I do love her name, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I can't ever say it, but I love it. She was asked about the three chambers of government. She called it the chambers instead of the three branches. Now, this is a very intelligent woman as far as her college education goes, and she graduated summa cum laude. I can't even say it. See, I couldn't have done it. Well, she says the three chambers of government are the presidency, the Senate, and the House. This is what we're dealing with. As Grandma used to say, she doesn't have sense to come in out of the rain. So isn't it wonderful that we have our trivia days? I'm so glad we started that. And by the way, we'll have another Constitution Trivia Day on December the 12th. Tomorrow we will have Tom DeWeese back with us. And Melody will be with us as we head into Thanksgiving on Wednesday. The chambers, the three chambers of the government are the presidency, the Senate, and the House. Not the executive or the legislator or the judicial, the three branches. So let me explain to you, as I have before, but I'm going to put it a little differently because that's how Mr. Hansen did it last night. They changed how they elect the senators now. They did that years ago, and they're wanting to change it again. They're wanting to add numbers to the Supreme Court so they can load the boat there. They've taken over in areas in your state government. in the bureaucracy, and they want totalitarianism. They want to have the departments, such as the FBI and the CIA and the EPA and those. They want them to rule over you. They want them to be the ones in charge, as long as we have a Republican president. None of these things are good. The Constitution is not an out-of-date document. It's not a living and breathing document. It is a contract between we the people and the elected officials, so that they cannot rule over you. And the Bill of Rights was supposed to be the final say on it. These things, they happen to be 10 when they started out, you cannot touch. Yet they have. And they continue to either mess it up, amend it, or ignore it. Shall not be infringed was added to the Second Amendment, and it meant exactly that. You cannot touch this. Congress, which happens to be, for Alexandria's benefit, Congress is the combination of the Senate and the House. Congress is not allowed to touch it, and neither is the president. The executive branch is not allowed to touch it. The judicial branch is not allowed to touch it. It belongs to the people, not to them. The people. So we've elected in New York once again. I won't call her a name. I wrote it down, but I should not do that. But someone who is totally, totally inept when it comes to the Constitution of the United States and our governance. We aren't run by 3 chambers. We are run by 3 branches, and that is a check and balance. We have the executive branch, which is the president. We have the legislative branch, which is the Senate and the Senate and the House of Representatives, which is Congress. And we have the judicial branch, which is the Supreme Court or the courts. So they want to take that away. They want to divert from what the Constitution says. But to call it 3 chambers, she's clueless, absolutely clueless. Well, another thing. The CNN suing the president or suing the White House because they took away Jim Acosta's hard press pass. Now, it was explained to me last night that this did not mean he didn't have a press pass. It just meant he couldn't come and go without question. He had to show his pass every time he walked in and get approved each time. It didn't mean he couldn't be there. It just meant he couldn't come and go as he pleased. And so one of the judges ruled that they had to give it back to him until they went to court and heard both sides. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what a waste of taxpayers' dollars. How much money have we blown on these investigations, on these federal lawsuits, on any of these lawsuits? Lawyers loving lawyers. Hey, you know what? I'm going to defend this guy. Why don't you prosecute? Or I'm going to prosecute this guy. Why don't you defend him? We'll both make a bunch of money. A bunch of money. So, the president has decided, or the administration, that they're going to put down some rules, which should have been done a long time ago, and I imagine they are there. But there's a decorum, the president says. You can't take 3 questions and 4 questions and just stand and not sit down. Total freedom of the press. You have to act with respect. And they have not acted with respect with this president. You know, they were disrespectful of President Ronald Reagan, but not the way they have with President Donald Trump. And they talked a little bit about that last night as to why. Part of it is that he doesn't take it. He'll call them out. He'll call them by name. You know, there's some churches that do that. They'll call Sister So-and-so, you were out doing such and such last night, weren't you? They'll call them by name. They don't like that. We're going into a break. 877-895-5410, and we will be right back.